Turn it on.
Turn it on.
Hit record.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the November meeting of the Walton County Planning Commission. We've got a few of our members that are out tonight. I don't know. I mean, seems like we're getting close to the holidays or something, maybe, Sharna, something, I don't know. But we will move forward with our agenda. And also, I'd like to say congratulations as I start the meeting to Pete Myers, who was elected for District Commissioner. He served with us several years here on the Planning Commission. He'll be taking Mark Banks' position, and I'm sure right after the first year we'll have an appointee for a vacancy we have. We also look forward to that. I'll not say anything else about any other elections at this time, but I'll move on with the agenda, and neither good nor bad. I'm just choose not to say anything further. So with that said, I am going to ask John Pringle if he would open us in prayer tonight. John, can you do that for us?
I'll give it a shot.
And after John finishes with our opening prayer, if all of you would please join us as we say the pledge.
Father, thank you for the opportunity to conduct the county business, and may we make the appropriate decisions for our citizens. And please look after everybody you have to leave here and return home. And I hope our other two members are safe. Amen.
Amen. Please join us for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I appreciate that so very much. I would also like to point out for any of you who may not be able to make a meeting in the future due to being out of town or whatever, if you would like to just join any of our meetings, you can do that on Walton County Facebook Live. We certainly like to have those folks there who cannot be in person but would like to attend the meeting, so that is open and available for you. At this time, I'll do the roll call. I'd like to show that all members are present with the exception of Wesley Sisk and Josh Ferguson. So hopefully we'll have Wesley and Josh back with us soon. And with that being said, we're going to move right into tonight's agenda.
What about the minutes from last meeting?
Yeah, I got to do the minutes. Sorry, John. Got you and Michelle here to keep me going tonight. So we have no old business that we're going to have tonight, but we do have last month's meetings that we need an approval on. So with that, I will take a motion from a member and a second, please.
I make a motion that the meetings be accepted.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much. So no old business, so we'll move forward with our agenda for the evening. First case up, Z2410002. This is to rezone 52.794 acres from A1 to R1 OSC for a residential subdivision. The applicant owner is Alcovy Development Group, LLC. Properties located on Alcovy Station Road. Is the applicant here or representative? Yes, ma'am, if you would please step up and tell us what your intentions are, please.
Good evening. My name is Andrea Gray, and I represent Alcovy Development Group this evening. We respectfully request that you table the public hearing on this matter to your December meeting to allow us a little bit more time to talk to some of the neighbors. We got some late information today, and we'd just like a little bit more time to do that.
Okay, thank you. So I have a motion from the applicant to table. How many people are here tonight for this case? Okay. How many of you are here in opposition? If you're here in opposition, raise your hand. Are there any of you who would not be able to attend next month's meeting? Anyone who could not attend? Okay. Sharna, should I hear some of the,
If that's up to you, you can, if you want to, like, if they think they're not going to be able to come and they want to speak tonight,
right,
you can, put it down for the record.
okay,
Just know that a motion won't be made. If they decide.
yeah. So no decision is going to be made by us tonight. So if all of you, and I want to make sure one more time, is there anyone here in opposition who cannot make the meeting next month? That'll be,
14,
yeah, December 3rd.
3rd, oh, second week.
No. Our meeting is the 12th.
Yeah.
Yeah, December the 12th, I'm sorry. December the 12th. So everyone can make that. Okay, so the other thing, with that being said, is I'm sure, Andrea, do you have someone already that you have spoken to, that you have a contact in order to establish some type of language between those people who are opposed and the applicant, a meeting?
We did have one, but I would
Okay.
love to get the information from these folks here tonight that made the effort to come out so that we could speak to them as well.
Okay, so I'm going to do something, being that we're going to, let me go ahead and just get finished up on this real quick, okay? Let me get a motion for the request to table this case. to
Make a motion that we accept the request as stated.
I second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Just say aye. Aye.
Aye.
So I'm going to go ahead and take just a little short break here for you guys that are here for this case, and as well as Andrea, and let y'all maybe meet her downstairs in the foyer where she can get some contact information from you to try to establish potentially another meeting between now and next month's meeting, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Or just leave it. Yeah.
Had to be
they might
reminded
stop
by
it.
you, yeah.
It's all right, I'm used to midnight and stuff.
Let's move forward with our agenda for this evening. Thank you, folks, for being patient and allowing us to do that. Second on the agenda for this evening is Z241-00003. This is to rezone 14 acres from A1, A2 to B3 for commercial parking. The applicant owner is Dennis McMillan. Property is located at 1203 Old Monroe Madison Highway. Is the applicant here? Sir, if you please step up and tell us what your plans are. If you don't mind, state your name and address for us, that'd be great.
Good evening. My name's David Elder. My address is 123 Bear Creek Lane. That's in beautiful Bogart, Georgia. And I am here tonight. I'm a land planner, and I've been working with Mr. McMillan on a couple of tracts of property that he has over the last, say, year and a half or so. I think that the last time that I was here in front of y'all was about a year and a half ago to discuss another proposal that we had. That proposal was unpopular with some adjacent subdivisions. In the ensuing year, as the bypass has been constructed, it has taken another tract of land that Mr. McMillan has owned for about 12 years, and it has kind of bisected that land. And so 12 years ago or so, when Mr. McMillan purchased the property that this is part of, he purchased about 95 acres, and as life would have it, the pasture that was once 95 acres has now got this new bypass going right through the middle of it. And so that has caused kind of an evolution of his use of that property. And it has opened some doors, certainly, and that's the request that we have here before y'all tonight. But it's definitely at the same time kind of changing, maybe his long-term plans for what he might do with that land. And so as the bypass has gone in, it has kind of created this parcel, which on the plan to the north or to the top of the screen that y'all are looking at is the new bypass. And what we're proposing on the part of the land there is some outdoor storage or trailer parking that would serve all of the vehicular traffic and trucks that will be utilizing the bypass. And this property also currently contains a residence, and it contains an old cemetery that is of a historical nature, and we've worked to design the plan in a way where the cemetery will be buffered and protected. And it is, the cemetery is nearly dead center in the plan. There's a label on it, and it's kind of at the high point of the property. And so we've worked hard to give that an ample buffer area away from any of the proposed activity. And we've also carved out, I think, about an acre, 1.69 acres is what I'm showing here, that the existing residence, we intend for that residence to remain on that 1.69 acres. And then the balance of the land is proposed for this parking. And I don't have an exact count, and this is really just conceptual in nature, but it gives you an idea of how it might lay out from a standpoint of circulation and the ability to park, vehicles or equipment there. The property is to the rear or to the bottom of the screen as you view the plan, has a pretty good buffer of existing vegetation and trees, and we would be able to retain that. To the right-hand side of the screen, there's a stream buffer, and so by the time you add in all of the buffer area where that branch is located, that also has the effect of creating a pretty good screen that would remain on that end of the property, which would be to the east. And so I'm certainly happy to answer any questions that y'all have related to the request. And again, that is a request to go from the current zoning of A1, A2 to B3 to allow this use.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from the board? I'm going to start off with a couple I have. First, kind of hit Sharna up here. Sharna, I see in our comments that, staff comments, that under DOT, that this will require coordination with the Georgia DOT. So my assumption is, which I'm not going to make an assumption, I'm really looking for you to say yes, but with this being implemented, will it be labeled part of Highway 11? How will the state will act that will be part of Highway 11, part of the bypass. So my second question, obviously I'm going to assume, which is another assumption on my behalf, that we probably, because of a non-existent road there, we haven't updated that for State Highway Corridor. Is that true, or is it on our maps as State Highway Corridor
It is actually on our maps as an employment center.
employment centers? Okay. But it will be considered as State Highway Corridor?
Well,
No?
the employment center allows for commercial as well.
Okay,
So, yeah, I mean, it's still like a commercial type of land use
right,
area,
right, okay, okay.
and it was actually placed that way because of the corridor that was kind
Right.
of out.
Thank you. Couple questions for the applicant. One, regarding do you have anything, is there any plans for any type of fencing, perimeter fencing? I know there's probably in the code, Sharna, am I correct?
I'm sorry, what was that?
There is, in the code for this zoning, there would be implementation of fencing,
For
perimeter
outside
fencing?
storage, that's right.
Okay. Do you know if that is of the type that would be non-viewable or not, like opaque with slats or something, or is it just a chain link?
Let me see, I believe it is,
I believe
Yes.
that you're correct.
Opaque with
that
slats?
it would be a, yeah,
I believe.
a screening type of
Screening,
fence.
screening fencing, okay.
Yes.
Security, what type of, so twofold, where you can answer this both, but security and hours of operation.
So from a security standpoint, obviously the facility would be gated, I think everybody kind of expects that level of security on a project of this nature. And that will be they're very automated these days. You can register for a space in a lot of similar developments online and then acquire a gate code that will then allow you access to a property such as this. And so that kind of system would be in place where you could utilize the internet to, find an available stall, secure that access through the gate, and then, we haven't really explored lighting at this stage in the game, or what would be required or what would be acceptable, because obviously we don't want it lit up like Christmas out there all
No.
hours of the night. From a standpoint of hours of operation, I would anticipate, and I don't know for certain, but I would anticipate that would be like a 7 a.m. to, 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening kind of an operation. I would not think that there'd be a whole bunch of traffic out there, late in the dark of night. That would be probably difficult to navigate.
So 7 till what time did you say?
I was thinking around 8 or 9 at night.
Okay, so 7 to 9 or something?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think downlighting would be appropriate. Number one, it's going to light but not be evasive, so.
Yes.
All right, that's all the questions I have. Anyone else have any further questions? Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hold on. I do have a
Tim, you got a question?
Yeah.
One more question for you, sir.
So you're looking at parking tractor-trailer rigs?
It would be parking that would accommodate, all manner of trailers, but it would be intended to accommodate different size trailers such as tractor trailers.
This is for local haulers or just any haulers that come through?
I think that there's a tremendous need, even for haulers that come from a long distance away, oftentimes to have a place where they can store, park a trailer overnight, something of that nature.
But not to stay in it overnight?
It wouldn't be it would not be a place where people are staying overnight. But if you have a load or something like that needs.
Right, you get here early, you're not going to deliver to Walmart facility to the next day, whatever, you can park your trailer and Uber.
I used to do a certain amount of work for the Caterpillar plant there right at the end of 78 in Athens. And if you got there early in the morning, frequently, they gate the property at night, and there might be 7 or 8 or 9 tractor trailers that have all arrived at various times, and they're stacked up trying to get in. And so that would be a scenario, like you mentioned, where if a delivery is early, they could probably secure a spot that would allow them an off-highway parking space.
So what happens if that driver does not make it within that window? What will they be parked on the outside or?
Well, I don't know. This would not be set up to accommodate parking outside the gate. So it would have to be something that would happen during.
So my assumption from what I heard you say is that the person would go online, select an available site, location, one of the parking places that's available, online, and then make the payment online. It would give him the code for the gate to get in. So it really wouldn't matter what time he got there. If he had the code, he'd be able to pull his truck in and park.
Probably.
Yes,
Within the time parameters that are set from 7 till 9, because you can control that electronically.
Exactly.
I got you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That clarifies it.
Is that the primary planned use is big trucks?
I wouldn't say that it's
Or
necessarily
is it
the
like
primary
RVs and
planned
things
use.
as well?
I would say that it's definitely a potential use. We've got, if you look at the site plan, there's several different sizes of stalls that we've created. And so some of them are 60 feet in length, and that would accommodate a semi-trailer, but some of them are only 30 feet in length. And so, that would only accommodate a boat or a small travel trailer or something of that nature. And so, and that's working within the constraints of the land, but I also feel like that works within demand. So, if you think about a lot of new subdivisions that are developed in this area, many of them have an HOA that has covenants and restrictions that prohibits you having all of your play toys, at your property. So if you have an RV, if you have a boat, whatever, you may not be permitted by your HOA to have that on the lot where you live.
So you would have some short-term, some long-term?
Yes, sir, I would
Right.
expect
Pay
that.
by the day, whatever.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
So at this time, is there anyone here in opposition to this case? Okay. Are you all together? Right, okay, well, ma'am, I'm going to let you come up and speak first. Sir, she has just made a decision to send you. I mean, I saw that happen right here in front. You ain't got no choice now. You got to get up and come on up. I mean, she said you going. Okay, well, if you'll come up and state your questions, what we'll do is we're going to give the applicant a chance to come back and answer your questions. So just state your name and tell us what your address is, please.
Randy Jenkins, 1198 Old Monroe Madison Highway.
Okay. Randy, what questions do you have?
This picture here, I can't really tell heads or tails about it,
That's it right up there, yes, sir.
but I still don't understand it.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to see the map?
Where is Old Madison Road on this picture?
I'll show you. Let me bring it up here for you. Okay.
Is it going over behind the White House? Are you not trying to rezone the pastures? I got no more questions.
All right, thank you, sir.
So there's another map.
That was efficient.
I was going to go to the one.
You're good? You're good? You're good? Well, thank y'all. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you. Y'all have a great evening. All right. Well, I don't really see any need to me bring you back up for rebuttal. It seems like we're where we need to be. So if there's no further discussion by any of the board members, I'll go ahead and take a motion for this zoning request.
I make a motion to approve with a couple of conditions, the plan shows it as having the entrance on the bypass. And
Okay.
additionally, to be sure that it follows the updated guidelines that we just had approved here recently for commercial lots.
All right. Yeah,
Is that better? You want me to say the whole thing again?
please.
Okay. I make a motion to approve with the conditions that the entrance has to be on the bypass, which it shows on there, but I just want to make sure it's there. And that following with the recently updated guidelines that the commissioners put in place.
For
The
this
the
zone?
commercial.
For this zoning?
Yeah.
Yes.
Commercial
for-
parking,
Okay,
yes.
for the B3?
Sorry.
Okay.
I second it.
I have a second. I have a motion and a second. And I will ask that all in favor, raise your right hand and say aye. Aye. So this will move to the Board of Commissioners on December the 3rd. You guys are unfamiliar at all with the updated, really, it's the code and some erratas I think we have
It
before
is,
the
right.
code. And erratas, you can contact Sharna's office, Planning Development. They'll be able to walk you through so you'll know exactly what that entails, okay? That worked out pretty well. I mean, those people have one concern, and you addressed it, and we're
It's not
done.
clear.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, that's kind of the way we like it, you know, so,
I think they
yes, sir.
They were thinking of that
You were
previous site.
thinking.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. All righty. So the third case on our agenda for the evening is LU 241-00004 and Z 241-00005. This is a land use change from suburban to highway corridor and rezone 7.63 acres from A2 to B2 for office and a baseball facility. The applicant is James White. The owner is James and Glenda White. Property is located at 2680 Highway 81 and Gum Creek Road is the applicant here. Sir, if you would please step up to the mic and state your name and give us your address, please, sir. We would greatly appreciate it.
Yes, my name is James White, and my address is 2680 Highway 81.
Okay, Mr. White, what's your plans with the property? Could just give us a good rundown of what you're planning to do here?
We're wanting to build an indoor baseball facility and a future retail space. I own White's Pools in Loganville, so a future retail space on 81.
Okay,
From A2 to B2, what
Okay.
we're trying to zone it to.
do you have any idea of the size of building that we're talking about? When you're talking indoor baseball facility, are you talking about training like batting cages, pitching, is that what, but no type of game or anything like that?
No, just
Okay.
batting cages, and this is my son-in-law, Niles. He can explain it better.
Okay, that would be great.
Yes, sir. Good evening. My name is Niles Davis. So, yeah, we're thinking no games. We're just thinking, I mean, there's a shortage within Walton County, of indoor training facility space. I'm a assistant principal at Loganville High School. So, obviously, in this area, we're extremely competitive. But when it comes to indoor training space for, young people to be able to grow and get involved in positive activities, a lot of them are going to Gwinnett, they're going to Oconee, where those indoor training facilities are. So we're really looking to, build that within the county to be able to build students, with something positive, and that's what our thought process is there.
Okay.
So cages, a turf field inside for being able to train and work on some of those skills.
Okay. And I'm going to take for granted, just due to what you're doing there, this will be an operation that would operate the training facility itself 7 days a week?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any times of operation?
Yes, sir. We're thinking weekdays, 2 to 9 or 10 p.m. For those who are in high school a little bit later, that 9 or 10 block, and then on the weekends, 9 o'clock to roughly 9 o'clock in the evening.
Okay. And I'm going to, you notice I like to make a lot of assumptions, okay? I'm going to assume that when you're talking retail space, because you did mention retail space, that you're going to seek a leasee for that space, or do you already have someone for the retail space?
Yes, it'll be our store, White's Pools.
Okay, so that's it? That's the only retail space will
Yes.
just be, you won't create additional retail space?
In the future,
And what's your hours of operation typically?
Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, or 10 to 5.
Okay. Monday through what, Friday?
Saturday.
Saturday? Okay. All right. Any additional questions for the applicant?
What kind of fees are we talking about at this facility
Fees for,
for participants?
So we're looking at like a skills academy, doing that to where there's a package, for families. We haven't thought about the specifics in terms of how much we would charge, but it'd be a skills academy where students would be able to come 2 to 3 to 4 times a week so that they can get in on a consistent basis, but something that's going to be, affordable for families.
What's the maximum number of people or student athletes you will be serving? At
At a time.
At any given hour?
At any given hour, I would say, we're looking at 60 to 80
60 to 80.
teams and individuals at, all depending on what the need is.
And again, I'll go on to make another assumption. This would also be to where, like, either softball or baseball teams from rec, high school, middle school, whatever, the team can come there, maybe even come there and participate in bad weather, off-season, such as that.
Correct. That's exactly what we're thinking about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other additional questions?
Where's the entrance going to be to the locations?
It'll be off of Gum Creek Church Road.
Nothing off of 81, right?
Correct, that's the retail, come off of 81.
Okay.
Now, so you're saying you're going to have 2 entrances?
Yes, the retail will come off, we're putting in a decel lane off of 81 for the retail store.
Right.
And the baseball facility, it'll be off of Gum Creek Church.
Thank you. Just wanted to make that clarification.
But your business will be off of 81 then, the entrance?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Any additional questions? Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Are you the applicant? Okay, all right. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. Is anyone here in opposition? Okay. You came in last, and I'm going to make you shouldn't have been late. I'm going to penalize you. All right. Sir, I like that shirt you got on. I'm going to make you first. Go Dogs.
Play a whole game, finally.
We would enjoy that.
Make a motion.
My name is John Wayne McKee, and I reside at 540 Harold Gower Lane off of Gum Creek Church. It's not Gum Creek Road, because there's Gum Creeks everywhere. It's Gum Creek Church Road. It's a cut-through road between Center Hill Church and Highway 81. And I represent myself and my neighbors in the subdivision of Windward Estates.
Okay, do you have a list of those neighbors where they've signed any type of document?
No, I do.
Well, then,
I could get one in a heartbeat if
but tonight, you're going to represent you. You ain't going to represent nobody but you unless
All
you
right.
got some kind of paperwork with you, okay?
Well, I'm the president of the homeowners committee, so
Right.
that's the reason I said that.
Yes, sir,
If
and I
I'm
appreciate it.
representing myself, that's fine.
Yes, sir.
Still going to say the same thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. First off, I'd like to say that I don't think our neighborhood is in strong opposition to the idea of a training facility and a retail store on Highway 81. And we give kudos to the applicant who has put a wonderful U.S. flag pole out in the middle of it. And I'm not sure what the memorial, but there's like a 49 Ford truck and an old tractor out there and a lot of rocks, which looks kind of nice to me. I'm speaking for myself. But the flag, good. Our concern is about safety and congestion. Any of us that live off of Gum Creek Church, and there's a couple other big neighborhoods, bigger than ours, much bigger than ours, know the difficulty you have making a left-hand turn off of Gum Creek Church Road onto Highway 81, almost at any time of the day. But the entrance gate, it's already been built, great big pretty gate on Gum Creek Church Road for the business called The Field, is right at the either end of or beginning of a 90-degree turn on Gum Creek Church Road. And then it's probably another, 1,500 feet to the stop sign at Highway 81. The traffic backs up there sometimes, and you've got traffic going both ways on Highway 81, getting out of there, and that's the only way to get to Loganville, unless you want to go around the moon. So our concern is the congestion. There's 95 parking spaces, I think, supposed to be a part of the training facility. That's providing for quite a few people to be in there at any given time. And he said 60 or more at any given time. That's a lot of cars. So I think we just want to show our concern and advocate that the Department of Transportation, or whoever does it for the county, take a long, strong look at the entrance there on Gum Creek Church Road and what you can do to avoid accidents, somebody getting hurt or killed or property damage, and just orderly egress, through there. That's the main concern we have.
Thank you.
There's just a safety concern and a serious traffic concern.
Well, and we certainly understand that, and you can well imagine. I don't think there's a month goes by we don't hear something about traffic. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
That's state DOT out there on 81, so we have no authority. We have no authority over the Walton DOT, much less state DOT.
Yeah. Well,
So we're their mercy to control traffic. I do have a question for you though. How many homes are in the neighborhood you're talking about?
12.
12. Okay.
Yes.
So it's kind of a smaller neighborhood.
Yeah, but there are some bigger ones down the road from us, and there are people that live all up and down
Right.
Gum Creek Church.
So all those people that moved in all those neighborhoods, they created traffic too. Is that fair to say?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
And we've wondered why no red light down there.
Right.
I've seen.
Don't get me started on red lights.
I've seen a couple of accidents down there myself, and so it's just the safety element and the congestion is our primary concern. And I guess the other thing that it looks like from me on the drawings is that, and you should be able to see that curve I'm talking about in the road right there.
Sure enough.
Do you see the?
There's the
Yeah,
curve, your curve's right
there's
here.
the curve right there.
Right.
Okay, and that's where the entrance is at.
Here, this is the entrance.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
Well,
Now,
certainly,
it
John. Give
also
me just a
looks
second.
like
Let
that's
me let him-
like you could turn off of 81 and go all the way through and come out on Gum Creek Church. Is that going to be a through?
Well, he'll come back up and answer that, but if you want to just ask the question, I'll have him answer it when he comes back up. So ask that question.
Okay,
please.
I'm asking that question. Is that going to be a throughway?
Okay. All right.
And I guess if I were to say what would satisfy me the most about it would just be kill that entrance on Gum Creek Church Road if you can't do nothing else, because I know it's going to be an issue.
All right. John, go ahead.
Yeah, the county public works recognizes what you're talking about, and they're recommending a traffic study be conducted to evaluate the need for a possible center turn lane due to volume and entrance location related to site, distance, and safety concerns on Gum Creek Church Road, and a deceleration lane and a cell taper be installed. So
that's within our.
Works has addressed some of what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. So these applications go to all departments. That's the remarks that we have in our notes from the Walton County DOT. So they recognize what you're saying and their plan to have action
Yeah.
taken there.
Yeah, you wouldn't be very smart as a traffic person if you didn't recognize it.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's all we have to say, and
Thank.
this is Kevin. He says he wants to say
Please,
something.
sir, state your name and your address for us.
Kevin Myers, and I'm actually a next-door neighbor of Wayne's in that same neighborhood. I've lived there 25 years. The neighborhood is just behind this property, and I'm with him. No objection to the facility at all. It's that Gum Creek entrance and exit that is a big concern. Even if the DOT said, yeah, we'll put a traffic light at Gum Creek, that really doesn't help it, because you get a traffic light there, well, Gum Creek going to stack up until the light changes, and then you got people trying to come in and out of that entrance on Gum Creek. And it is at that curve, that is a dangerous curve. It's
The hot rodders love to see how
Oh,
fast
yeah.
they can go around it.
And because of the short distance between this side entrance and the intersection of Gum Creek and 81, again, that's the main concern. The facility, I think that's a great idea, and y'all have done a great job, the flag and all that, so that's the big concern.
Thanks, guys, I appreciate it. So who on the second row? All of you, are all of you together, or are you each independent? You're all together? So, I mean, if all of you need to come up, but here's what I want you to do. I don't want you, it'll just be you, okay. So what I'm going to ask of anyone who comes up after them is please don't repeat anything they've said. If you have something new to bring to the table as a concern, we will happily listen to that, but we don't need to hear the same thing over and over. If you could work with us on that, we would greatly appreciate it. So ma'am, you can come on up now. Please state your name and your address for me, please, ma'am.
Susan Boyette, 2488 Smith Drive.
Spell your first name.
Susan, S-U-S-A-N.
I misunderstood that. Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome. We live on Smith Drive. It's the next neighborhood behind yours. Runs off of Gum Creek Church. These other people live on Gum Creek Church, or is it Rocky Branch? It has 170 homes in there. It's not a 12-home neighborhood. It's a huge neighborhood. But this is what I want to know. How come we already have an entrance to something that hasn't even been approved or anything? The entrance was built before any of this, before the rezone even went up, just about it. How did that happen?
Under the current zoning that they have on that property, they would have a right to put access to their property. If you bought a piece of property, regardless of what you plan to do with it, you have to have access to it to get off the road without running through the ditch. So you can put in an entry under the current zoning. They may have to upgrade that for the new zoning, but and that also, unless something's changed, and I just about know nothing's changed, even the entry that they have, those have to be approved. So that entry was approved for the zoning that currently exists. Yes, a drive.
So that is going to be a driveway for the adjacent property that supposedly they're going to build their own homes on, 3 homes on, is that correct? There's 50 or 60 acres.
Which that being agricultural or residential, whatever it is, if they want to build houses, they have adequate frontage, they can do that. I mean, there's no quarrels about, they can do that, they can use that entry. So what we're concerned with is really what they're doing here for this property. And it's the only thing we're going to hear tonight will just be the request for this property.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have grandchildren that use these facilities, and they do have to go to Oconee or, another county. And it'll be, in fact, my daughter was even going to build one herself, but that's another story. Nevertheless, I mean, it's great, but please, please look at the safety issue for all the people that live on that road. This is just, it's a danger. That's all I'm going to say.
Right, and just for the record, I want to clarify, you said that there's around 170 homes in your neighborhood?
The one right behind me. Rocky.
Okay, thank you.
There's probably 12 in mine.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So did she do a good job for all 4 of y'all? I ain't got but one, I got one okay, and she ain't give me nothing yet. She's still waiting. Oh, sir, you better sit there and be quiet. Ma'am, well, if I could, I really need to ask you to come up and say it publicly. I hate to do that, but that's the way I'm supposed to do things. And you wouldn't want to get me in trouble, would you?
She beat me to it.
That's not good enough. Please state your name and your address for us when you get to the podium, ma'am.
My name is Helen Pulaski, and I live at 2251 Gum Creek Church Road, and I've been there for over 55 years. We moved when it was still a dirt road. So I've seen a lot of changes, and I certainly don't mind change. I don't mind the baseball facility, but there are probably 50 houses on my road, and there's 3 subdivisions off of Gum Creek Church Road. One has 170-something residents. The smaller one has maybe 12. And then there's another one that has, I don't know, 15 or 20. But it's just a real, it's already a congested area. So I just wanted to go on record as saying there's a lot of traffic on that road already. And given the conditions of where the entrance would be, I want you, hopefully you'll reconsider having him enter on, have it off of 81.
So I'm not familiar with that area. Other than the 12-lot neighborhood that was discussed, the 170 for your neighborhood, and then you say you have 50 around in your neighborhood. Is there any other neighborhoods on that road? This guy's going to come up and give me some more. You live in a different neighborhood? All right, he's next up to bat.
Okay.
No pun intended.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I said he's next up to bat. No,
Okay.
no pun intended.
That's fine.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
You have a blessed evening. Sir, sorry to keep you too late, but you're going to have to get here on time next time. If you come next time, I want you to be here on time. State your name and address for us, please, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Daniel Lear, Leahr, 4007 Rocky Creek Trail. And that is the first street after that dog leg on the right off of 81.
And how many homes are in that neighborhood?
4.
4.
And one at the corner of 81, at the corner of Gum Creek and Rocky Creek Trail, there's one. And then there's others coming back down the dirt road.
Okay. And what is the opposition or the concern that you have outside of what has already been mentioned?
Sure. Number one, I've heard safety, but I'd like to be a little more specific on that, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If we're going to have 60 or 80 cars with teenagers at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, that sounds like a recipe for something to go wrong. When you've got that many kids possibly without parents, 16, 17, 18-year-olds driving, I'm really concerned that that's just going to be a nuisance. Number 2.
Can I stop you? Because I got a train of thought going and I want to ask a question.
Sure.
Tim, you work in high school. How many kids do you have commute that are teenagers every day to come to that high school that drive?
Can't count.
By me, how many? 300 or 400?
Pretty much.
300 or 400, okay.
That's a small.
I think kids 60 to 80, I'm going to rebut what you're saying. I think 60 or 80 can get in there if 300 or 400 can get into their school every single day.
No, sir.
Okay.
I sincerely,
carry on.
Aggressively disagree.
Carry on.
And with that, as it's been stated, the entrance gate, which, like we say, there's been tens of thousands of dollars of improvements already made before the zoning's hearing today. So some assumptions by somebody spending money has already happened. The gate is about 2, maybe 3 car lengths from Gum Creek Church in that dog leg of the road. You can maybe put 1 or 2, 3 cars there, and then they're going to be backed up in the road. If I could give a little more definition around congestion, I promise it won't be more than about 30 seconds.
Sure.
Okay. I wish I had a laser pointer. But as you're coming south on 81, Gum Creek Church is off to the right. Okay? If you make that right onto 81, immediately after that is this gate. If you're looking at that kind of traffic, it's very probable you're going to have traffic backed up to 81 trying to go down Gum Creek Church. Now, conversely, when LCA Loganville Christian's in session, I can wait there 3 minutes, sometimes 3.5 minutes, just to make a left turn in the mornings. So in the evenings, you've got a lot of afternoon school traffic. So the other concern is, if there's going to be rushes of kids at a particular time, we're going to have a real traffic nightmare trying to get off of Gum Creek, either right or left on 81, if traffic's backed up. And For those, I'd ask that you consider, if you look at the map, it's not displayed here, but if you look at where Gum Creek Church is as compared to the entryway to Loganville Christian, or sometimes the entryway almost down to White's current store, traffic is stacked up, dozens of cars. And that's only going to get worse when we have this many cars coming in. About the kids and the unattended, I think a commercial building in a school parking lot has a different characteristic in the design as compared to something in a field. And there are considerations for size and volume that I don't think are, really taken into account given the current road. I understand the store on 81, there's really no heartburn with that really, but this entryway off of Gum Creek is going to be a significant problem.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Can I address that part?
Go
too?
ahead. Yes, you can.
When it comes to that, I mean, we're dealing with the same kids. As Ms. Pulaski, I've seen the growth of this county in the past 45 years. And I remember when Loganville was just a little small school on that side of the county. Growth, as I've stated before and before, is evident, inevitable. Change. One thing that happens is that we're afraid of change. Change is going to occur. We have a lot of people here in Walton County now. This side of Walton County is growing tremendously. Having a facility like this, I feel that it's going to be safe based upon what I'm looking at here. And I always hear the concerns about traffic. Traffic's always going to be here. It's trying to be addressed, but it's going to be here. 60 to 80 kids is not going to me, I've worked with kids for the past 45 years. Kids are going to be kids, but it all comes down, athletes are normally, they try to be responsible. They try to, and it seems like some of these kids will be coming with parents, if I'm not mistaken.
Ma'am.
Totally understood.
I'm going to ask everyone, please do not speak unless you're at the podium, please.
So I just wanted to say that.
And it won't all be at once.
It won't all be at once, no.
Because I wrote
Okay.
pages.
I would give the consideration, if the high school gets out at 3 o'clock and the team's coming over, why wouldn't it be at once?
Because you have basically everyone traveling at the same time, but they're going in different directions.
No, I mean, if the team's coming to this facility at 3 o'clock when they get out of school, why wouldn't it be a rush of traffic at one time?
Well, I'm just going to say, to me, that's somewhat of an assumption because most of the school's practice is going to be on-site.
Right.
Unless the weather doesn't permit it or it's out of season. Wintertime, they can go there, they can work on the inside during the wintertime, maybe during Christmas break, after school, whatever. But, all that's to be determined. And also the guy's going to be limited on space, so he can only schedule so many at any given time. So anyway, any other concerns, sir, that you have other than what you stated?
If I may, I understand the layout of the parcel itself, and my question is, the parts that we're looking at now, are the gates going to be in this section right here off the dog leg in the road? What's going to be back in this far corner back in here? And I live right here, so I'm really worried about us. What's going to be back in this corner? It's not, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then my final request is that we really consider making the entranceway off of 81. That would solve, I think, everybody's problem. If you could just force that traffic on 81 where it can be handled better.
Well, and I'll go back and I will say this. That has to get approval from state DOT.
Exactly.
Okay.
We should.
So that's out of our hands.
Right.
We're strictly, this board is strictly looking at the use request of that property, period.
That being the case, I respectfully ask that you deny it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time. Anyone else here in opposition?
10 minutes is
I mean, we normally try to stay close as we can to 10 minutes. I've allowed you to speak, and I'm up at almost 20 minutes right now, so. Okay. Yes, sir. We got that. Yes, sir. I'm going to allow the applicant to come back up for rebuttal, please. if you would address some of the questions that were asked and some of the concerns that have been rendered.
Go ahead. So what's the question as far as?
So I think some of the questions are where there's a gate there now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to be converted to the entry for the training facility?
Yes.
Okay. So,
There actually is two entryways,
okay,
one off of 81 and one off of Gum Creek Church Road.
okay. But the one on Gum Creek Church Road where the gate is going to be the entry for the training facility? Okay. What length of time would you say is a normal length of time for someone to come and visit? How long would someone be there when they come?
So typically, it's going to be, I mean, if we're looking at an individual lesson that a young person's coming, they may come for an hour. If they're going to be there for a team practice, they may be there for 2 hours. So it's not going to be any longer than that period of time. And, to address the 60 to 80 at once, I mean, of course, you may have a team of 12 that comes in for 2 hours, but there's going to be individuals at the same time that are coming and going. So 60 to 80 people are not all going to come at the same time because there's no teams that are 60 to 80 deep.
I'm going to say that plus you probably don't have designed into the facility enough to accommodate that. Is that true?
Correct.
Okay.
Because there's going to be an infield where, teams can work on infield work, but I mean, it's literally just an infield, so it's going to be maybe 10 at a time on there.
Gotcha.
When it comes to the school team, it may not even be that many because Georgia High School has a limit of the number of athletes that can be worked with off-season.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else help me remember any of the other questions that were pertinent to the request? Obviously, I mean, from the standpoint of the traffic, and like I said, that's always a concern. It's a concern basically on just about anything we hear because no matter what we do, there's a traffic increase. Sometimes there's a traffic increase when you do nothing. They just have to go somewhere else. But it is something, and part of this being Highway 81, as I've said several times, we have absolutely no control. You guys will work with state DOT to get your approval. They'll tell you what you need to do if you haven't already spoken to them. And then, of course, the county's indicated to us they plan to do a traffic study there to decide what needs to be done, potentially to accommodate the proximity to the curve and the intersection. So, and we hear the concerns that you folks have brought. I just did, I'm sitting here cracking numbers. The number of what you gave me, 236 home sites that you guys created. And no. I understand. I'm just saying, well, what's here? That's all I'm talking about. What someone's told me tonight, 236 home sites, 2 drivers, not including kids. So you just start multiplying and you think about the traffic that was created that wasn't there before, same way everywhere else. It's the same thing everywhere else. We ourselves create. And then the other thing is, of the 236 home sites, if you have an average of 3 kids per home, that's 708. I mean, things just change. They change because we keep populating our society. We have to do something, and and then we have people who have a vision of a need for a community or for a county in all aspects. I'm not talking precisely to this. I'm talking about the gentleman was here before. We're putting in a new bypass, and he said, it'd be great for those truckers to have somewhere to park out there. I mean, it's opportunity being seized, and but anyway, as I stated, our consideration is going to be for the representation as far as the county in the request that's been made for the use of the property. Is there any other questions from any of the board members? Okay, thank you guys. I appreciate it. At this time, I'll take a motion
I'll make a motion to approve case number LU 241000004 and Z 2410005 with the following condition, that the Public Works recommendation be followed, and the Public Works recommendation that a traffic study be conducted to evaluate the need for a possible center turn lane due to volume and entrance location related to site distance and safety concerns on Gum Creek Church Road, and a deceleration lane and ACEL taper be installed.
Thank you, sir. An Excel lane, that means when you're leaving. Thank you. Do I have a second? I'll second. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, so this will carry to the Board of Commissioners on December the 3rd. So this case will be heard by the Board of Commissioners on December the 3rd. No, ours is 12th.
Never mind.
Yeah,
I'll be
December the
quiet.
3rd.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So you guys will have another opportunity to submit your concern. Well, John did a site visit because
I live over in that area, and I understand exactly what you're saying, but like I said, we don't control the roadways, and we're going to provide a service for young people that they really need, and it's a healthy choice for them versus being on the computer all the time or iPhone or whatever.
Can't he just make one entrance off of 81, entrance, exit on 81,
well,
and a light? And that would solve other problems of getting out.
right. And again, we cannot control that part. Yes, ma'am. Yep.
And I'm also familiar with that area because I worked in that area. I'm familiar with that area also. I worked, yes. Yes.
Thank you so very much. I've closed public comment and really shouldn't be allowing what I'm allowing, but I did that. Sir, if you want to stay after the meeting to address one of us or ask a question, we'll be happy to do that. But right now in the public format, I'm closed public hearing for that case. I've closed public hearing for this case. I am moving on with my agenda. Sorry. So next on our agenda for the evening is zoning request Z 241000006. This is to rezone 2.40 acres from A2 to B2 for an industrial building to lease. Applicant Rich Wade and owner Wade Nation LLC is the applicant for this here. Sir, if you could please step up to the podium and state your name, address, and tell us what your plans are for this property.
My name is Cole Inman. I'm at 6134 Floyd Street in Covington, Georgia. I am not the applicant, but I'm working with the applicant and here for him tonight. So should I speak now or?
Sure.
Okay. Basically, what we're looking to do is go from the A2 to B2 zoning to allow for industrial use. And maybe some outdoor storage, but it's a 10,000 square foot building that will be used for office and some shop bays for maintenance of whatever equipment or whatever company goes into this building. It would be built on a speculative basis with a specific tenant in mind. Somebody, could be anything, heating and air company, could be a grading contractor or whatever, somebody that needs to park, say whatever, some maintenance trucks outside or some equipment, lay down, whatever, and then be able to work on their equipment as well.
So it's a spec building?
Speculative building, yes, sir.
Yes, okay.
Yep. And this is over by where Rivian is going in and a lot of new growth in area. So this is to target some of those, some of those customers that are going to be in that industry.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
So you don't have any specific company to come in?
No.
It's wide open?
Not from day one.
I mean, this is going to create lease space is what I'm hearing you say.
Correct.
It'll be a spec lease space.
It'll be lease space, 100%.
Thank you.
Yep. And the plan is to just market it, you know, after we get all the approvals and start, and hopefully have a tenant day one that would help all of us for the end goal.
And what's the plans for fencing or?
Not shown any currently, but typically a facility like this, that's the one thing I left out on the rendering. We would put up some type of black chain link vinyl fence, because whoever goes to lease it's going to want to secure their equipment that's parked behind there or whatever it is. So now whether that gate is up here near the entrance or back here going to where all the gold would be stored.
Lighting.
If I could let the board know, this rezone request is for B2. We did talk to Mr. Wade about the outside storage, because that would require a conditional use, and it was not advertised as such, because he said there would not be a laydown lot, that it was, that was not the use. So if they've changed their mind, we may want to take this back, re-advertise, and post it properly.
I might have misspoke on that one. I didn't catch up with Rich prior to this, but he might have a different tenant in mind than what I was thinking, but
just to know.
Nothing has been really made other than just, hey, can we get as much?
So would it, I mean, to me, being that you're talking about a spec building, then I think the case could be made that whatever parking is done there in the rear would be only for the tenant.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Okay, so then that rules out any outside storage from any, yeah.
Different term, yes.
Like-
For whatever company is in this, this is a one-tenant building.
That's right. So
Yes.
that's where I think we would want to draw a line, that the parking would be allowable only for the
100%.
tenant for that building.
Not like what was earlier. This is only for whatever company leases this.
Thank you. That, Sharna, is that clear?
That makes a difference. A
Makes a
laydown area is different than
Right,
than the
exactly.
tenants that are.
Yeah, sorry, I was using that term wrong.
Yeah.
Strictly for the company that leases.
Right, that's the way, I felt like you were headed there, but just for clarification. Okay, thank you. Any further questions for the applicant?
Do you know if the violations have been addressed?
Don't ask me
Yeah, quite a few.
Yeah, there's several code enforcement violations
For the property?
Yes. dating back to April is what I see at the top of here that has not been
Is that
rectified.
under Rich Wade's ownership or prior ownership?
Both.
I know the property has not been touched since Rich has bought it.
So I'm going to stop right there for just one second, take a pause. Sharna, can you share with me what the code violations are?
Yes, sir. Litter. It says there is excessive trash, litter, debris. They were given a notice to comply. All trash and litter need to be removed from the property and disposed of properly. Multiple notice posted on the property. Citations have been issued.
And what, under the current owner, how far back, when did he buy this?
It wouldn't.
No. When did he buy this property?
Cannot say for certain, but that, from what I'm seeing, is from the previous owner, and it would be within our scope to go in and clean it up with approval for the plan that we've got. And I know Rich has said that we've got to clean up a lot of it, but that would be all from the previous owner, 100%. Property hasn't been touched since Rich's.
But the current owner has had citations issued?
The current owner has.
Okay. Tracy, can you look at, just real quick for me, can you look at the tax database and tell me when that deed transferred on this property?
Hold on just one second. It's probably in this folder right here.
Okay.
Right here.
Oh, I don't know if that's right.
November 9th, 2023.
11/9/23.
11 of 23. Sharna, when was the first violation issued after 11 of 23?
Was it May the 14th?
The first one was December 20th, 23.
It's on the bottom sheet right here.
Okay.
So it looks like for this case, he was the owner.
Right.
You're right.
Okay.
And we're looking at 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Are the pictures in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any further questions for the applicant?
I will say this is to 100% enhance this property from the current state that it is in now that would have led to the violations, which is an old dilapidated house that has not been well taken care of. This would be a much greater improvement with landscaping, brick knee wall around it, to attract the type of company that.
Correct.
And then the violations would be taken care of for the trash and whatnot.
Yes, sir. Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you, sir. Is anyone here in opposition to this case? Sir, if you would please step up to the mic, state your name, tell us what your concerns are.
My name's John Dooley, and I live at 2412 Hancock Drive, Social Circle. I just bought the property back in February. I just have some serious concerns. This backs right up to my property, and I just have some serious concerns about my quality of life being diminished, and I have a 4-year-old with special needs, and it's a residential area. There's nothing but mobile homes all around us, and then this thing's going to be like right in the middle of it, and based on not even knowing what's going to go in there, I just have some.
Well, it's going to be a building that looks like that right there. That's what the applicant said. But as far as what business, you are correct.
Right.
But it will be a business entity that would lease the space.
Yes, sir.
It sounds like to me, when and if this ever were to occur, it would be actually an enhancement to potentially what's there now, at least.
I mean, personally, I would just like to make sure that there's some sort of privacy fence or something, and I guess.
Yes, and that's in our code.
Okay.
They have to have a fence around the perimeter of that property because of the zoning request that's in our code, so that would be there. Yes, sir. And also, we have controls for the lighting, both in the parking areas as well as on the building. That's all in our code as well.
All right.
Anytime that you have a concern in regards to that specifically, those things, you can contact our planning and development office. They'll be glad to share that with you.
Okay. Well, I appreciate y'all, and I guess I'll rest with that.
Thank you, sir. All right. Anyone else here in opposition?
So fencing may need to be recommended as a condition.
Okay.
Because B2 is not going to necessarily require it it's dependent on what's there.
Okay.
But B3 would require fencing, but
Right,
B2.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That's why I have you here. Okay. So not to try to jump the gun here, this is not my area, but I am part of this board. So I am going to make a recommendation tonight that we deny the request and that an application, Sharna, what's the time frame from a denial that the application can be filed again?
6 months.
Can we waive that? Could the Board of Commissioners waive that?
Maybe. I can find out from the county attorney.
Okay. If you would do that in the meantime, but I'm not going to change. So my recommendation is going to be for denial with a stipulation on the denial that an application cannot be made on this property for this use or any use to every one of these citations have been paid and the problem that they're being cited for by the code has been corrected. To me, this is like a HOA coming in here, someone from HOA trying to sell their house, and they got a bunch of stuff that they didn't comply with within their HOA, and they're wanting to transfer a deed of a property, and they can't do it until they clear up those things with the HOA. It cannot be left over. I don't know why we would support a request for zoning approval when the current owner has been cited and no action's been taken. So hopefully this will expedite the action that's needed to get the property in compliance. I would also like to put a stipulation on my denial that would say that if there's any possibility that that 6-month window can be waived to a shorter time frame, basically once all this is cleared up, that they can then immediately make their application again, that would be great. And so that is my recommendation. I'll take a second.
I'll second.
I have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye. Aye. Thanks. Hope, sir, you understand that.
Yeah, I understand.
Sir? If you've got a quick question, I will answer it for you.
Will we be notified if the 6 months is waived and when we could go back in for application for this application?
This will go to the Board of Commissioners on December the 3rd. So you're going to have to come back for that meeting to, to make your case again.
This is just a recommendation.
Right. This is just a recommendation. We're a recommending board.
Yep.
So you'll come back, you'll present your case again. At that time, I would like to think that that Sharna would be able to have an answer for you if upon the commissioner's approval, that can be waived. Once you guys are in compliance, you can resubmit for this application.
Also a month to get the property cleaned up.
Sir, ma'am?
Also a month to get the property cleaned up prior to the board meeting.
Yeah.
That's what I was curious about that too. So,
Yeah, that would go a long way.
say we got the citations taken care of and the property cleaned up.
If you get that done before December the 3rd, I will say that you will be taking a big step forward in the right direction.
That's what we like to hear.
A lot of work. for
Yes,
those
sir.
Pictures,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, we're just a recommending board, but I mean, I can't consciously set up here.
I agree, 100%.
It's just that would not be the pertinent thing to do. So thank you for your understanding.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Any comments, additional comments from any of the board members regarding any of our business tonight? I want to say thank you for everyone for your input, for your time. And with that,
Let me say
is there
one thing.
any public comment? Any public comment?
Let me say thank you to everybody that understood my absence the past couple months.
Oh, yeah, Tim, we're glad to have you back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Thank you all for your support.
Glad to have you rolling.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion that this meeting be adjourned.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right